Hello. We are 1 week into October already. We don't need to talk about it, but let's go over the 20 books that I read in the month of September. My September TBR, I read none of the books on my September TBR. I'll put a little thing here to show the books that I was supposed to read. Yeah, I didn't read any of those. But I did read some really good books. I also, so I started school, right? Tail end of August, like start of September. We were full into school. And school's been kicking my butt. Let's start with that because yes, I read 20 books, but I've had so much like homework and discussion posts and an essay and presentations and all these things to work on, and it's just been so much that I have not been able to film any videos, which is fine. Like, I'm not gonna, pressure myself to put videos out when I literally don't have the time. Anyway, I had some time today. So we're going to talk about the 20 books that I read in September, starting, I guess, at the very tail end of August. The first book is Play With Me by Becca Mack. This is book 2 in the Playing for Keeps series. So I read Consider Me, which is book 1. Yeah, so I read Consider Me in August, and at the last day of August, I read Play With Me. And I thought this book was much better than the first. Oh my goodness. So this book follows hockey players. The whole series follows. I ordered my groceries to be delivered, and that's what I keep getting dings about. Okay, 42 minutes. So this series follows hockey players, right? The Vancouver people. And I forgot if it was the captain or yes, the captain. So Jenny is the captain's baby sister, and Carter is like a hockey player on the team, and the captain is really, really like, don't touch my baby sister. And they're friends first. They're friends first, and then they fall in love. Gave it 4 stars, and I enjoyed it. It's better. I thought it was better than the first one, even though I literally don't remember what any of the books are about. But moving on. After that, I read Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. I love a queer romance. I should go through all the videos that I've made and just tally up the number of times that I've said I love a queer romance. I gave this book 5 stars because if you give me a sapphic romance, it's going to automatically get 5 stars. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, but yeah. I think Ashley Herring Blake is probably one of my favorite authors who writes like queer romances, and I have loved every single book. So there's that. Yeah. What's this book about? So Astrid is an interior designer, and she bumps into Jordan, is a bitch to Jordan, and they go their separate ways. And who is the contractor working, or carpenter working on her grandma's inn, I think, or like B&B, bed and breakfast, hotel? I don't ever remember. But who happens to be the contractor and carpenter working on that? None other than Jordan. So now Astrid has to backtrack and be like, I'm so sorry. I was a bitch to you this morning. Anyway, the point is, they're cute. They fall in love. I love them. 5 out of 5. Next up, I read Do You Remember by Frida McFadden. This is the only physical copy of a Frida McFadden book that I own that I hadn't read, and I genuinely thought I'd read it, so I kept ignoring it. Anyway, this book follows Tess. She wakes up in the morning. She's forgotten all of her life for the past 7 or 8 years. She doesn't remember her husband. She doesn't remember their live-in hell person. And every single day she wakes up and she's like, what's going on? And her husband has to go through this whole thing with her and tell her exactly why she's lost her memory, that she was in an accident and all these things. And then every day, right, because she doesn't remember the previous day, she has to figure out what's going on. So she starts leaving notes to herself and things like that. And it was wild. It was very entertaining. I kind of predicted the end because it's Frida McFadden. I have read almost every book that Frida McFadden has written, so I kind of know how she structures her books now, but it was still a very entertaining read. It says, who do you believe when you've forgotten your life? And it's she can't even she can't believe herself, she can't believe her husband, she can't believe, you know what I mean? She can't believe anybody. So yeah, entertaining. I give it 3.5 stars. Next up, and let me tell you, there are very few books. In fact, I think this is the first book that I've officially been this is a 6-star read. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've watched people's videos when they were reading this book and they were crying and they were so emotional. And I was just I loved The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I don't know if it's that serious. It is that serious. Oh my goodness. I every aspect of this book, I was holding on. I was like, please do not turn this into a. And they're just. The hives. She breaks out in hives when she gets excited. So she broke out in hives because of her. Ah! I can't, I have no words. I can't even tell you what this book is about. I mean, it's about space. It's a love story. She's not a pilot. She's an astronaut. It's about space. But like, can I please encourage you to read this book without knowing anything about it? Because there's just so many good parts. There's so many sad parts. There's just, oh, I love this book so much. I love this book so much. I'm so glad I finally read it in September because like, I should have read this over the summer. Anyway, I'm going to put this book back where it belongs at the top of my shelf. Hold on. Can you see it? There we go. Yeah, that's where she belongs. I'm gonna leave her there. Next up, I read Dream On Ramona Riley, also by Ashley Herring Blake. I am obsessed. Added to the tally, I love a queer romance. Anyway, so Ramona and what's her name? Ramona and Dylan meet when they're very young, like 13 or something. They share their first kiss, they part ways, and now however many years later, Dylan is a movie star and she's shooting a movie in the small town where she met her first love. And she runs into Ramona. I forget if she acted like she didn't remember her. Either way, it was a whole thing. And now they're like they're like reminiscing on their past and their first love again. And just like, this book was so cute. Very spicy, but very good. Well, I guess it wasn't that spicy, but this book was spicy and it was so cute and it was so good and funny. Next up, I read Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I have loved other books by V.E. Schwab. I also read Barrier Bones and Midnight's Will later in the month. We'll talk about that later. But I don't know what I was expecting going into this book, but I loved it. Like, it was so fantastic. Olivia, she's an orphan. She gets invited by her uncle to come to this house, like their family house called Gallant. And so she goes back. She's not wanted there. Like, her uncle or cousin, I don't know, somebody else is like, why is she here? She should leave. Oh yeah, Olivia sees ghosts. Yeah, and you are correct. She does see ghosts in this house. I'm not going to say anything more about this, but I love the cover of this book, like the roses. And like, I don't know if you see like the house and it's flipped over. That's a big thing in the book. So, yeah, this was really entertaining. I give it 5 stars. Next up, because I wanted Christmas in September, and also I love Ashley Herring Blake, I listened to Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. And this book was, I remember, sad, but very, very cute. It was a childhood best friends to lovers, turn enemies, turn friends into lovers. And also, it was a holiday book, and it was really cute. So I loved it. Don't remember anything else that happened, but 5 out of 5. Next up, I read The Pairing by Casey McQuiston, and I feel like I saw a lot of negative reviews about this book. My shopper just texted me. I finished shopping for your order. I will be there soon. 32 minutes. Sounds good. I feel like I saw a lot of negative reviews about this book, and I'm not sure why. I gave this book 4.75 stars. I think it made me feel like I was in vacation in France. Like, it made me feel like I was in vacation in Europe in the best way possible. I get motion sickness when I travel, so it's like I was there but not there, you know? And like, yeah. So Kit and Theo are in a relationship. They break up, but before they break up, they've booked this what's it called? Like, this trip to Europe to see the things. I don't remember the details, but they booked this trip. They break up. So each of them now has tickets to go, and they each didn't go. But 4 years later, when this ticket is expiring, they decide to go separately, and guess who they run into? Of course, each other. And yeah, I thought it was really cute. I tapped one spot in this book. Let me see what I tapped. Oh, so Theo came out as non-binary. And then the part that I tapped, it says, I will if you can be a good pause. What should I call you? And Theo said, definitely not girl. No, obviously. Boy? Sometimes. Anyway, but yeah, obviously they were in the middle of, yeah. But yeah, I thought this book was really cute. Again, I love queer romances. I feel like if the book has a queer couple, it's already a good book to me, because we read too many damn straight couple books. moving on. Next up, I started reading, or rather, I continued reading the Shatter Me series. I'm gonna wait till the end because I read like 5 of the books and I have one more. And then I am in the middle of a Shatter Me reading vlog. Okay, I will read the final book and I will edit that video and I will post it if it kills me, damn it. Anyway, so I'm gonna skip the Shatter Me ones and we'll talk about it at the end because I'm not gonna go into any details of them because they're part of the series. Moving on. Next up, I read The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. Last month or August, I read The Atlas 6. I thought that was really good. This one I also thought was really good. I gave 4.5 stars. We get to see like more of the time traveling, I guess, aspect of it. And my comment that I wrote on my little spreadsheet is, what the fuck? Yeah, I remember there were like multiple storylines happening, which made this book go by so fast because I was like, what's going on, jumping back and forth. And then I'm not gonna spoil it, but the fact that Ezra did all that he did just to chicken out at the end, I was low-key embarrassed for him, not me, for him. Yeah, yeah. And also, Libby is a queer character. Also, there's other queer characters in this book. I am obsessed. This book was a 4.5 stars. I'm excited to read the Atlas. What's the final one? The Atlas 6, the Atlas Paradox, and I don't know. I'm excited to read the final book in this series. Next up, I read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I heard really good things about this book, and I was excited to get into this book. This book is about vampires. I love vampires. Like, it gave me Twilight vibes, but nothing. Like, it took me back to like when I was obsessed with Twilight and things like that. I love vampires. Anyway, the fact that, so I said, Charlotte telling Sabine, think of all the books you could have read, and Sabine's like 300 years old. And I was literally like, yeah, that is literally me. If I were a vampire, I would just read all the books and more. So yeah, I'm so excited. Anyway, this book was kind of sad. Sabine was like, you gotta read the book to understand it. But it's just, I remember this book was much faster. Like, the beginning was not as slow. Like, the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue was a little bit slow in the beginning. This one wasn't. This one kind of jumped right into the story. And yeah, it was very entertaining. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I am doing a terrible job at explaining these books, but it's been over a month now. I literally don't remember the things that happened in this book. Anyway, moving on. Next up, I read Picture Perfect by Tessa Bailey. I listened to this actually on the bus while I was going on a school trip, and I thought it was very cute, you know, like fake dating to make. So she's had a crush on her longtime childhood crush forever and ever, amen. And she starts fake dating, what's his face? I don't remember his name. So she starts fake dating him so that he can teach her how to attract her long-term crush. And of course she falls for her fake date. Like, duh. I thought it was cute. I give it 4 stars. Next up, I read Air by Saba Tahir. I also listened to this audiobook while I was on the class trip, and I listened to it in bits and pieces. And I think I need to get the physical copy and read the physical copy because I don't remember what happened. I thought it was very entertaining, but I remember I was like, this is very slow. And it might be because I kept taking breaks. Like, I had to keep pausing because, you know, school. So I think I need to reread this book because, yeah, my delivery is almost here. So I'm going to go get it and then I will come back and we will continue. It'll be however many minutes for me. It'll be 1 second for you. So hold on. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what I was talking about. We're going to move on to the next book that I read in September. So the next book I read was The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. I thought it was a little bit of a mystery story, and Caroline finds this potion bottle that has a bear on it, and then she starts looking into its history. So it's a little bit of like this historical mystery, magical realism thing. But yeah, so she finds this like old hidden apothecary shop that had an owner who used to brew potions specifically to kill men. And I thought that was really interesting. And I wish we got to know a little bit more. And I think there was like I said, the mystery aspect, like, did Nella die or did she not die? And is she alive? Is she still killing men? You know what I mean? So it's like, this is very entertaining. I'm so glad I read it. And there's another book I have, The London Seance Society, I think is what it's called, by the same author. And I think it's the same kind of vibe, like a little bit of a mystery, a little bit of a historical, situation. So I'm excited to read this. This was 3.5 stars. I thought it was fine. Like, it was entertaining, like I said, but I'm excited to read the next book and see if it's more. And then getting to the end of the month, I dived headfirst and completed. I started and completed these books. So I may have mentioned in a previous video, but I got these books off Facebook Marketplace. I got Spark and Glow of the Everflame off Facebook Marketplace. The same lady, like a week later, was like, "Hey, I finished Heat of the Everflame. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely, I do." So I went and picked it up. So after I came back from my school trip and like did my homework and whatever, I was like, "Okay, I think I want to dive into this because this gives me such like fall vibes." Fantasy books tend to give me a lot of fall vibes, but anyway, this book, or this series, I should say, follows DM Bellator. She is a human and her mom is a healer for like the king, I don't know, whatever. And her mom disappears. Right before her mom disappeared, DM saw her mom arguing with a strange man. And so now she's lost her mom. Her mom's gone. And she's like, what the hell is going on? And she gets an opportunity to become a healer, or to heal the prince's sister, so the princess, and that sparks something between her and the prince. The prince is Luther. And that is all I'm going to say, because if you continued this series, you would just dive into it like I did. I will say, Luther starts like watching her every move and is like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, can you leave me alone, please? I don't know if this is actually classified as enemies to lovers, but I will say, like, Luther being a descendant and DM being human is like kind of that rival thing. And I know there's also history and backstory as to reasons why DM does not like the descendants. And also her mom just disappeared and she's like, what is going on? Anyway, so this book I flew through in like a day. Genuinely, I think I took like a day and a half to finish this. And then I started the next one, which I also flew through in like maybe a day and a half. And then I will say this one took me the longest. This took me like almost 5 days ish, maybe. And I think it's because, one, this book is very like fast paced. They are all very fast paced. Let me start with that. And you get to like see the characters grow. And I will not tell you more because you need to read the books. But like the first 2 books fly by. And yes, they are shorter. But starting with this book, I was kind of like, I still gave it 4.75. So these 2 are 5 out of 5s. And I gave this 4.75, but it definitely became a little bit more repetitive. Like she was saying the same things and doing the same things. And this book, I started tabbing because I was like, and the quotes this man says to this woman. Luther says, if something happens to you, I'll suffocate this entire realm in darkness. And I literally was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, Luther, yeah, it was a slow burn, I will say. It was a slow burn. Books 1 and 2, and then book 3 is when stuff happened. And even though book 3 was very repetitive and took forever. The moral of the story is I am obsessed with this world and I cannot wait for Burn of the Everflame, which is book 4. There is no release date and I think I'm losing my mind. Like I need to know when it's coming out so I can like be prepared to purchase this book and read it right away, you know? Anyway, Spark, Glow, and Heat of the Everflame. Yes. I have read some really good fantasy series this year. Like 2025 apparently was the year for me to just get into fantasy worlds. And I'm here for it. But speaking of fantasy worlds, now let's get back, or I guess not back, but let's talk about these books. So I've read these books before. I read these books when I was a teenager, over a decade ago, whatever. I reread Shatter Me in February or March. I don't even remember. You'll see it in the Shatter Me reading vlog. But I reread Shatter Me at the very start of the year. And my goal, what I meant to do, was to continue the series. And well, I didn't get to do that. So this month I decided I will, in fact, go and reread the Shatter Me series. I did not reread Shatter Me, the first book, but I did reread the next 4. I'm going to reread Imagine Me. Honestly, I have some assignments to do tonight, but maybe after that I might do that. And then I also want to read Watch Me, the next one so yeah. Moral of the story is I have been tabbing the heck out of these books because if you have not heard of Shatter Me for some reason, Shatter Me is this dystopian young adult series that follows Juliette Ferrars. Her touch is lethal, right? Nobody can touch her because she will kill you with her touch. And she meets Adam Kent in the prison. She falls for Adam. She finds out Adam can touch her. She falls for him. He breaks her out of prison. Oh yeah, Juliette is locked up in prison at the start of Shatter Me. I'm not going to grab it and hold it. I'm just going to talk about it like it's here. Anyway, breaks her out. They go to they go to this kind of like rebellion place and they're kind of living there. That's kind of Shatter Me. And yeah, if that didn't make any sense, I'm trying not to give any spoilers. However, book 2 is my favorite book because this book was just like jam-packed with everything that you could possibly have and then some. Book 3, the way book 3 ended, makes a lot of sense why this was originally a trilogy. So when Ignite Me ended with Juliette doing the thing that she did, I was like, yep, if there weren't more books, I am satisfied. Like maybe a little novella, like a little 5 years later novella would have been fine, but that was really good. And then I continued to Restore Me, and the story just keeps going crazy. The story keeps going insane. And by the time we get to Defy Me, I'm like, what is happening? I will not say anything because I think it's worth the read. Yes, do I think the first 3 books are better? Yes, absolutely. However, every single one of these books are 5 out of 5. And the reason is these are fast paced. These are extremely fast paced. Like they're not that long. Each book, I think the longest of the books is like maybe 400 pages. So they're not that long. So they fly by so quickly and like you just want to keep knowing what happens because I love Kenji. I am obsessed with Kenji Kishimoto. Oh my goodness. I also love, what's her name? They introduce a new character at the end. Not at the end, but oh my goodness, what is her name? Nazira? I'm obsessed with Nazira. I am obsessed with Juliette. I'm obsessed with Aaron Warner. I'm obsessed with James. Oh my goodness, he's just like the joy, like a ray of sunshine. Anyway, I've been yapping too much about these books. There is a Shatter Me reading vlog that will come out at some point in 2025. I'm hoping after I finish this assignment that I can finish the book tonight, but we will see because I also work. Yeah, we will see. But yeah, that is my wrap up of the books that I read in the month of September. I have read 1 book so far in October, and October has definitely been and it will be a lot less books that I read this month because I have so much homework to do. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, even though I haven't posted a video in like a month. I am not going to do an October TBR. Obviously, we're already a week into the month, but I'm just going to read when I feel like reading. We'll see. We'll see what I end up reading. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in my next one whenever that comes out, as well as the Shatter Me reading vlog, which will come out at some point in 2025. Yeah, anyway, thanks. Thanks for watching.